Now, Helen, we're going to try and cover as many topics as we can today in order to help everybody at home. But let's start with who you complain to if your item doesn't arrive by post.
It's always the retailer, and even if they try and fob you off and say contact the courier, it's always the retailer. So if it doesn't arrive, or it arrives late and you've paid for a certain date for delivery, or you think it might be stolen, you still don't contact the courier, you contact the retailer. They can contact the courier, and then the retailer has to either send out another item or give you your refund.
And if they are trying to fob you off to go back to the delivery or the courier, what do you say?
You say, under the Consumer Rights Act 2015, my contract is with you, I am entitled to a full refund. If you do not give me that, I will be taking you to the small claims court.
I love it.
Yes,
okay,
it really
let's see. It does.
Absolutely works.
Especially with that sort of energy behind it, I would certainly be taking your call.
Being polite and being objective, but I will not hesitate to take the matter further.
Okay.
Which will include, but not be limited to.
Let's say your item has arrived, and we have all done this, ordered something online, and it arrives not quite as it was described, or not quite as you assumed it was going to arrive, or defective, broken. What do you do then?
Well, there are two different things there, really, because if it's faulty and it's not as described, then it's a breach of the Consumer Rights Act 2015. So if something doesn't last a reasonable length of time, it doesn't match the description, it's not fit for the intended purpose, faulty, not of satisfactory quality, then you're entitled to a full refund up to 30 days from purchase. And you do not pay for the return postage. It should be no inconvenience and cost to you. If, however, you just don't like it, then it's a change of mind. And when you buy off premises, you've got 14 days in which to change your mind from when it arrived, and then another 14 days in which to send it back. And then it might be down to the retailer's terms and conditions as to whether you pay for the return postage.
Okay, so 14 days to change your mind. Is that across the board? Is it different online?
No, that's off premises. So anything you've bought that is not on premises. So if you've then gone into a store, you don't have that change of mind. You might just have to look at their terms and conditions to see whether they do or they don't take an item back. But if it's faulty, if it's a breach of the Consumer Rights Act, then they do have to give you a full refund.
Okay, but when we are looking at the right to change your mind, how long do you have for that?
Yeah, that's 14 days from when it arrives, and then you can take another 14 days after that to send it back. But generally, people don't get rid of it, don't you?
And does that 14 days change if you're buying something online compared to if you're going into the shop to buy it?
No, so that online is off premises. You're not in the premises.
Okay.
So anything that you're buying, so you might be buying it on the phone, you might be buying it online. That's when you can change your mind under consumer contract regulations. You're able to have the 14 days change your mind. If you're going into a store, if you're going to a physical shop, then you don't have that automatic right to that change of mind.
Ah, okay, that's good to know. Is there anything exempt then if you're buying something online from the 14 days?
There are quite a lot of things actually that are exempt. So like bespoke items. So if it's been personalised, and so they can't resell it on. There's some financial products, holidays, that kind of thing. So it's quite a long list of
and things like earrings, aren't they? Or I don't know, more intimate items that maybe people don't want to feel of.
Somebody else has tried on and then given it back.
Yeah, you can. You should still be able to change that though.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, but there's some personal items. So that's when it gets down to the really nitty gritty. But yeah, you should be able to look at that transition. But they can tell, because if it looks like they've been worn, then you won't get your money back on anything. So if you've bought a Christmas jumper and you've worn it and you say, "Oh, I've changed my mind, I've sent it back," they don't have to give you your money back.
What if you take the tag off? Lots of people have this thing in their mind that if you take the tag off something, you can't send it back. I've recently taken the tag off something which I want to take back. What are the rules there?
That's going to be very difficult, because if you've taken the tag off, it looks like you've used it. There's no need to take a tag off to inspect it. The reason the rules and regulations are there for change of mind is because you can't inspect it. In a store, you can inspect it. So you don't need to take a tag off to inspect it. So you've broken the contract by taking it off.
But you may have to try it on. I'm just thinking of some things I've bought my son, for example. They come in a set, and then often the trousers are attached in some way to the top. So in order to actually put them on him, I've had to cut the tags. Would that count?
Yeah, I think it would, because that would be your mitigating circumstances, that you had to remove it to be able to try them on, and then found that they didn't
fit. So, and not fitting is a completely reasonable reason.
No, for a change of mind, yeah.
Okay, so that would be a change.
But you may have to pay for the postage to send
It's like also, see with sunglasses, and you can't really wear them because they've got that big clunk on them. There's a big sort of security bobble on them. And you can't, I need to wear sunglasses for at least 10 minutes to work out if they're going to give me a headache or not. And so if the tag's been taken off, does that mean that I can't then return the sunglasses?
Yeah, but you wouldn't be sent them
with the
online
tag
with the tag on it, would you?
Okay.
In store, you'll just have to stand there and stand
For
there.
10
But there's
minutes.
nothing to stop you standing in store and holding them for 10 minutes. But you wouldn't be sent them in the public.
How unusual. You wear glasses for 10 minutes and they can give you a headache?
Well, I've never.
Is it to do with the weight on your nose?
Just it's the optics of the lens. There's a very rarely can I find a pair of sunglasses that don't give me a headache.
You learn something new every day. If you've got a question for Helen, 0207 862 2222 is the question. She is the number to ask your questions. She'll be here to answer them. I think we can go to the calls now and speak to Alison from Nottinghamshire. Do you have a question?
Yes, I do. I placed an order with Debenhams recently online. The item hasn't arrived. The tracking hasn't been updated. Debenhams don't have an actual person you can speak to in customer services. They aren't answering emails, and the chatbot text message service just says I need to wait until the 20th of December.
Oh, that is incredibly frustrating, Alison. Is this a gift?
It is, yes. Yep.
How annoying. What would your advice be?
Well, I always say when people say they can't contact a company, you go to ceoemail.com, which is a brilliant site, and that lists the...
Oh, here we go. We're seeing a still of this. What's this then? Is this a sort of email that you can send, or is this the website? So this is where you're going to go, Alison, and you're going to find out what?
Right, so you go to ceoemail.com, and that will list all of the CEOs for all the companies in the UK, and that'll give you an email address. And so that means you can get it into the system. So you can complain there, you've got the contact. The CEO's not going to respond personally, but it will go to the executive team, and it means you've got that record should you need to take the matter further.
Talk about taking it straight to the top, Alison.
It works.
You need to do. It's become harder and harder to talk to a human being, and you must see this all the time. These large amorphous companies. I booked through Booking.com. It was a really grim experience.
And not based in the UK, so it gives you a lot of other issues as well.
They erroneously charged me 500 quid, and I could prove it was entirely on them. I could not. I'd almost given up, and it's 500 quid that was my money that had been taken from my account. Do you know how I got it back in the end? I found a friend who puts his hotel on Booking.com. He gave me the number he uses servicing his relationship, because he's obviously paying them and they've got a vested interest in having a telephone number with him as one of their clients. And I rang up, I faked it, I pretended I was a hotelier, and I got through to a human, and within 24 hours I'd been refunded the £500.
Well, there you go. So it's all about finding another way in. Alison, get on that CEO website. Before we get to another call, I just want to ask, what about websites like Vinted and eBay? So where you're buying off another person rather than a company, what's your...
That's different. So when you're covered by the Consumer Rights Act, and you've got the faulty goods and matching description, all of that, with a private seller, they only need to match the description. And with Vinted and other sites, you need to look at their sort of terms and conditions as to how long you've got to inspect it. I think Vinted is only like 48 hours. Make sure you inspect it within 48 hours.
Facebook Marketplace?
Facebook Marketplace, again, you're looking at just, another person. So, in reality, people aren't going to give you your money back. Inspect. Yeah. Don't use PayPal, friends and family. Make sure you inspect the item before you pay money. Don't pay. That could be a scam. Okay. So there are lots of issues there.
So it's just more risky doing that, but it is often cheaper. So you're weighing that up. Denise from Liverpool, what's your question for Helen?
Hi, Helen.
Hi.
I was 50 nearly 3 years ago, and my children bought me a matching pink set of suitcases. From the car to the airport, one wheel fell off the big one. They came and collected it, and I'm still waiting for the large suitcase. They've only offered me a green one, but the set was a matching pink one. What are my rights?
3 years, Denise. You've taken 3 years to get to the complaining cow.
No, I've done it all over X. They collected it 2.5 years ago, and they keep saying go back to personal email. And they say and they offer me a green one, but I don't want a green one.
Helen's furious.
I've done it as well. You can do it for the suitcases. I've done it. I had a set of 2 suitcases, and the driver of the Honda company too broke it. He broke the wheel, and I said, I want a new case, but I want 2 new cases because I want all the money for 2 new cases because they were matching. So you're entitled legally to be put back into the position you were in before any accident happened. So you are entitled to the refund for or a payment for all of that. But I just go straight to the CEO and just go to that department and just say, under the Consumer Rights Act 2015, this didn't last a reasonable length of time. I'm entitled to be put back into the position I was in. This is how much I expect. And if you don't pay me within the next 14 days, I will not hesitate to take the matter further, which will be not limited, which will include, but not be limited to, going to the small claims court.
I would also mention that you've been on this show because it shows that you've got agency and gumption and that you follow through.
Okay, listen, even after 2.5 years?
Yeah, because particularly if you've got your evidence, it's always important. That's why I always say to people, make sure you complain in writing so that you've got the evidence. If you were phoning 2 years ago, you're going to have difficulty proving that. But if you've got in writing that you did it 2 years ago, then it will go against them because they've taken
That's the other top
time.
tip. Always get things written down. Ask for an email, get it written down. Okay, refunds in January. What are our rights there? If we get something we don't like it, can we take it back?
Well,
Look at Storm's face. She knows she's going to get some
yes, what have you been given?
Expectations for January?
Well, hopefully somebody will have bought it in the shop and been given a gift receipt. And so if a company is giving you a gift receipt, then you'll be able to take it back to the store and they'll say, we'll be able to give you an exchange or, or a refund. And most stores will increase their turnaround period, their deadline period until the end of January. But that's the kind of thing you need to look at when you're buying something as to whether the store has that policy. It's not automatic and it's not a legal requirement.
I didn't
my husband, if you're watching.
The gift receipt, it does mean if I'm buying, because I bought my husband's birthday at the beginning of December and I got a gift receipt and that meant we could only exchange in the store. If I just got a normal receipt, I could have got my money back. I didn't realise that. So the gift receipt does come with catches.
Yeah. Oh, interesting.
Well, because the contract is the receipt. The contract is with the buyer, and then you get your refund. But yeah, that's a gift receipt that they will only exchange.
Yeah. Very quickly, what about gift cards?
Be careful of gift cards because you might get them for a company that then goes into administration. We've seen that happen lots and lots of times, and people have lost lots of money on the gift cards. And also be aware that they quite often only have 1 year or 2 year limit. So if you have got a gift card, then keep it in a separate place to the receipt, which has got your details on it should you lose the gift card. But also in most places, if you go in, and this also works online, if you swipe it, that will extend your time for the next 2 years.
Okay, so even if you just go in and get them to swipe it,
in most places you can swipe it. I've just
easier to give cash in an envelope, isn't it? After this conversation,
just give cash. All right.
Well, someone say bank transfer, please.
We have so many questions to ask, but we're going to have to end it there. Thank you very much for getting in touch. A huge thank you to Helen for coming in and sharing all those rights with us.